This is Coach Brooks for round 3 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe playoffs. We're playing against Sequoyah High School, which is the 16th place team. So we should win, but yeah, gotta play good. This one on Koopa Cape. Really a pretty basic track. There are a few technical tricks, such as a few mushroom cuts that can be hard to hit. A top 4, that will put us at a starting lead of 19 points. Pretty much with a 6-race format, it's 117. You have to get more than 117 points to win. So if we keep this momentum up, we should be able to guarantee the win by race 5. For race 2, we have DS Mario Circuit. It's a fairly twisty track, but it is, because of the off-road, it is a extreme bagger. So a viable strategy in at least single-player play is to just kind of sit in the back and boost ahead right at the end. A nice top 2 for 8. So it's a pretty much a top 2 always gets you at least a 3-point lead over the other team. So pretty much getting top 2 every race is a viable strategy. M64 Rainbow Road, it really doesn't have anything in terms of cuts. So for this track, the generally winning is going to be determined by whoever can just drive the track the fastest. And being in first gives you a huge advantage because you can start off and keep going with inside lines and just kind of break away with the lead. So having multiple players that can run this track well is going to pretty much amplify any singular player ability. Race with a 1-2-3-5. Not quite as good as the top 4, but it is still a massive point gain. So, going with 81 to 36 is a huge lead, and if we can keep up this momentum, after this next race, being race 4, we could possibly guarantee the set 1. Basically, the least amount of, in terms of total points, the least you can gain is 10, and the most you can gain is 29. So, pretty much if 10 times however many races you have left, if that plus your current points is greater than 117, then you've won. Wild Woods. And the trick with Wild Woods is it's a very technical track. I'd probably put it in the easy to play but hard to get good at category. So if you can learn all the little cuts, you're going to be able to push yourself so much further ahead of the other team. And it has all sorts of paths and different tricks in all sorts of different ways. Got that race with a 1-2-5-8, so it's still a good point gain, and the point total is 104.52. So going into race 5, we've got 2 races left. Again, the least amount of points you can gain is 10. So if we place as bad as possible for the next 2 races, we would still end up ahead of the other team. This next track is Wario's Gold Mine. So with this track, it doesn't have a ton of cuts, not any shroom cuts, but because it's so windy, there's huge variation in the types of blind you can take. So pretty much, you really want to be able to get ahead and stay ahead, because you can get hit off and bumped off in all sorts of places. Race 5 at 128 points, and as already stated, since we passed the 117 point mark, you can see that we've already essentially gotten all the points we need to win. So pretty much we finish out race 6 and then go into set 2. Race is Singapore. It's one of those tracks that doesn't have a ton of off-road, but if you're fast at it, you can win a lot easier at this track. So we finished that set off at 154 to 80. So that is a huge margin when it comes to these types of matches. The complexity with Mario Kart is that you have to work as a team and also drive together. So if you have one player that's all the way ahead, even if they're the fastest player on the planet, if they don't have a team backing them up, it is much harder for them to do well. Set 2 here. Assuming we keep up our momentum, it should be pretty close to what the last set looked like. We're starting off with Ribbon Road. This track is incredibly technical. It has it's very windy and has a lot of cuts. The most notable of which are these couple of shroomless cuts on the floating ribbon section. It is incredibly easy to either misalign or get bumped off while you're trying to do a cut. And if that happens, it's not very fun to try to claw your way back up. We finished that race with a top 3 and a 7. So that is incredibly good placements because that puts us 13 points ahead to start the set. One of the other notable parts of Urban Road is the bagging ability. Because it has so much off-road, you can often glide your way up with a set of shrooms and other speed items. That ending cut, it saves a ton of time. So if you have a shroom and can take that ending cut, it can be the difference of getting a low position to a top position. Next up, we have Waluigi Pinball. The trick with this track is how the pinballs, they're throughout the race, they're constantly rolling around. So because of the randomness of items and even just the race-to-race difference of how someone drives, can turn this track into a vastly different track at different points. So it's very important that a player memorizes the actual pinball position, because if they don't, they'll end up getting hit by the pinballs, and it can push them really far back. You can see there the havoc that the pinballs provide. When you get hit by the pinballs, it can just push you way back, and when you'd otherwise be way ahead, you may end up getting shoved right into the pack, and then it can compound into getting hit by all sorts of other items. So our next track is Cheeseland. This track is incredibly infamous for being a extreme bagger. Pretty much the general strategy is just to not drive to the start. It's a little different in team play, just because the items such as shock, any other targeting item, will always target someone on the other team. So it's generally a viable strategy to have 1 or 2 people sitting in the back, and then your other players pushing up ahead to try to secure a top spot. Because if you push all your players to the back, and they don't manage to bag their way up, now you're kind of stuck. Because you're stuck in the back, and you have no one to push up. Finishing that race with a 1-2-4-5 is incredibly good for us, and you can see firsthand how effective item play is on Cheeseland. Because you can be all the way in the back, and in just a small stretch of time, push all the way back to the front and secure yourself a top position. Right in time for the Christmas season, we have Merry Mountain. So this track, it has mostly, it's a pretty generic track, except at the end there's a huge off-road section that you can either skip the off-road, or you can skip the off-road and get an item, or you can boost through the off-road and push yourself way ahead than you would otherwise be. finishing that last race with the top 4 pretty much just sealed the set for us, putting us at 103 to 53. If we got bottom 4 for the next 2 races, we'd still end at 123 points. So pretty much the rest of these races are just kind of extra since we've already gotten the majority of points at this point. This next track is Sherbertland. It's honestly more technical than you expect. It's got all sorts of branching paths, and then also various off-road sections. So the underwater section at the start is actually a good bit slower than just staying up above. Over here you can see the windy off-road section. And boosting ahead, you can gain a ton of ground from the other team. And then going off this path, you've got a choice between the water section and the above ground section. So for our final race, we've got Snowland. This track is also well known for bagging. We finish off race 6 at 147.87, and we are going to move on to round 4 of playoffs. Unfortunately, our secondary team lost against Second Year High School, who is the top 4 seed, which we will likely play for semifinals. Next week, or Wednesday, we are likely to play Alliance Academy or Soul C. Johnson High School.